what would be like this crazy epic battle for like a 15-year-old girl fighting against John Wick, but like obviously with chess. My dad, he used to give me a lot of advice as a kid, and the one thing he told me that really stuck with me was, you can be the greatest artist in the world, you can be better than, you know, the most famous painters, but if nobody knows your name, nobody cares. It's your life. Yes. No one gets to tell you what to do. If you create the biggest idea, you're still somewhat closer to that goal than before even trying it. Hey, you're not alone in this, and just keep going, and don't give up on that dream.
No Bullshit Talks is a podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. There's too much bullshit out there, especially when it comes to business. This podcast aims to highlight what's true and what's not in the world of entrepreneurship, bringing you honest and raw conversations about the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. Each week, my guest will be a high-performing entrepreneur sharing the ups and downs of their journey and helping you prepare for the road ahead, while providing you with actionable insights and absolute gems of knowledge. Stay tuned as I introduce this week's guest. Bianca Mitchell Avila is a filmmaker, artist, and chess player. At 16, she was annoyed about the misogyny in chess, so she decided to make a documentary about it. With no Hollywood connections, she's managed to get her documentary, Madwoman's Game, executively produced by Keanu Reeves, and it premiered at the Miami Film Festival. I present to you this week's guest, Bianca Mitchell Avila.
I am so excited to have one of the youngest filmmakers I have ever met on the show today, Bianca Mitchell, and she is the reason why I am sitting here in Miami today, because she created a movie about life and chess. And for those who follow me, you know that I am super passionate about relating life to chess and using chess lessons in order to be able to build up skills in life and business. And Bianca's made a movie about it. And she did this from the age of 15, which is phenomenal. She's a huge inspiration. She's honestly an incredible human, and I am privileged to be in her movie. But I'm also privileged to have her on the podcast today, sharing her story about how she's managed to achieve so much by the age of 21. So I'm super excited to introduce today's guest, Bianca Mitchell. Bianca, welcome to No Bullshit Talks. I feel like you are one of my most unorthodox guests I've invited on, but in a brilliant way. But I guess I would like you to introduce yourself to my audience. So who are you, Bianca?
Hi, I'm Bianca Mitchell Avila. I am 21 recently, but I'm an artist, I'm a filmmaker, a chess player, you name it, I do it. But yeah, I'm an artist.
Okay, so you're artist primarily, but you are very much a filmmaker, because we are here sitting in Miami a day before your movie premieres at the Miami Film Festival. How wild is that, me saying that?
It's insane. You know, I've been working on Madwoman's Game for 6 years. I started when I was 15. And it's kind of full circle, because I think a few years ago I came out here to Miami for the FTX Champions Chess Tour. And it's kind of crazy that now I'm in Miami again for a chess documentary.
Wait, that tour, wasn't that where some of the drama was happening between Hans and Matt?
I was there.
Oh, wow, you had front row seat to that.
Yeah, I saw a lot.
Oh, okay, we're going to come back to that, because that's kind of interesting. But I want to talk about your documentary, because like you said, you started when you were 15, but even before that, that's when you started making it. And that's part of why I brought you here today, because my podcast is about entrepreneurship, and you know, it's for entrepreneurs, and you're, as I said, definitely an unorthodox way of doing it. But I was so impressed with everything that you've done. You've got a film premiering at the Miami Film Festival, and you're 21. Like, that is off the scale cool. And when you told me what you did to get here, and the fact that you were 15 years old just blew my mind, because it meant that you had more balls, like that's a better use of a better word, than most adults that I know. And just the resilience and determination and everything that you've had to do to get here is incredible. So I would love for you to share a bit about your story, I guess, why you even wanted to make a film in the first place, but like what you did to make it come to life.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I started working in the film industry when I was 13. So I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be in the film world. I went to a media arts school in high school and middle school, which they would kind of teach us how to do like TriCasters, write scripts, make short films, things like that. And I fell in love with it. I was like, this is what I want to do. But like, that wasn't really what inspired me to be in the film industry. When I was little, like really, really little, I used to have like a lot of Legos. And I used to make stop motion films. Very, very start. Like my parents gave me a camera and they were like, have fun. And I used to take pictures of everything. I used to record everything. Like I kind of always knew that I wanted to be in this world. I just didn't know how to get into it. And so in middle school, I decided to do a lot of internships. I reached out to this Amazon Prime show that was like local in New Mexico, and I got to intern with them. And then, you know, I did a lot of other projects during that time between Madwoman's game and 13. But basically, COVID hit. And I remember sitting at a table with my dad. It was our dining table, and I was like, Dad, I don't want to lose this. You know, nobody's doing anything. The film industry's kind of shut down. The world's shut down. But I want to be in this world. I want to keep doing this. So we were like, okay, like let's set something up. Let's make something. And that's where Madwoman's game started. It started at our dining room table in our apartment with my dad and I. And it started off as like a school project, and I wanted to do it for my school because it was a film school. So I was like, I'll make something for school and try to win an award in the local award section. And as it just kept growing, I was like, I had somebody tell me, they were like, you should have an epic battle at the end of the movie. It was supposed to be a short film. They're like, have an epic battle. And I was like, okay, what would be like this crazy epic battle for like a 15-year-old girl? It's like, be kind of crazy to be like fighting against John Wick, but like obviously with chess.
Yeah.
And so after that, I reached out to him and he loved it. And that honestly was just a pivotal moment in my life. It was
Just for clarification, you reached out to Keanu Reeves because we hadn't even said that there.
Oh, I'm sorry,
and John
yes.
Wick himself, obviously, yeah. But this is what I can't believe still. Like, you already said it. You said you reached out to Amazon Prime, you reached out to all these people. That alone, for me, is huge because so many people are too scared to reach out because of fear of rejection, right? That is obviously most people's fear. Like, it's the fact that you don't hear anything back or you say the no's and people can't handle it. But you were just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have John Wick? Let me just write to Keanu Reeves. Like, who does that? And especially at 15, like, what did you say? And how did you even know, like, where to find him or what to say to him?
So I'll start off with this. My dad, he used to give me a lot of advice as a kid, and I knew what I wanted in life. I want people to see my art. I want people to see my films. I want people to see that. And the one thing he told me that really stuck with me was, you can be the greatest artist in the world. You can be better than, you know, the most famous painters. But if nobody knows your name, nobody cares. And then he was like, you know, the worst thing that could happen if you reach out to these people is you get a no. That is literally the worst thing that could happen. And so, like, knowing that as a young person, I was like, you know what? You're so right. But the best thing that could happen, you have no idea.
Yeah.
And so I guessed Keanu Reeves' manager's email. I got it right. And he reached out the next day. And I remember just screaming. I screamed. My parents thought something happened. I was like, this is unreal.
What did you say? Because, I mean, like, most people are not going to even respond to that. They're not going to care. And, like, I know you now, so I know that obviously you have a certain thing about you that people can tell. And actually, I had Carla on my podcast earlier, and she said the same thing. You reached out to her, and there was something about what you said. And I get it, but I'm curious, like, Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. I mean, like, this man is, like, loved by every single person in the world. And the fact that his manager had the time to even respond to a child, let's face it, in his DMs, and he must get so many things. So what on earth did you say to him to get the attention of Keanu Reeves?
So I'll start off with this. I knew that I had to build up stuff have things under my name to get anybody's attention. So throughout those years of building things up, I was interviewed by the New York Times about chess, being a young girl in chess and things like that. So I had a lot of stuff under my name. So when I emailed him, it wasn't like just, I don't know what I'm doing. It was like, I have a vision. I need help. But I didn't ask him for help originally. I just asked him for a game of chess.
Wow.
I didn't ask him for money. I didn't ask him to be an executive producer. I just asked to play a game of chess with him.
Wow, so you start off just something so small that he can barely say no to. I guess if he's got the reputation of being the nicest man in the world, like saying yes to a game of chess with a young girl who's like a fan. I guess that's interesting. Start really small, something they can't say no to. That's pretty impressive. And what was their response? Just, yeah?
Yeah, I got on a Zoom with him. We talked about things. And as it just kept growing, the relationship, mentorship started happening. And he came on as executive producer, on it by himself. And that's also something, I will still never ask anything from him. I respect him. And, there are a lot of people out there that would take advantage of that. But I'm just learning, and I want to keep growing, and I want to be humble about it like he is.
I think that's probably what attracted him to you, though, because I feel like it's the fact that he is humble. He is a great guy. And like you said, you weren't looking for anything and you weren't looking to exploit. And someone like him and the Hollywood industry in general probably can smell that a mile off, right? And they were like, wait a minute, this girl's different. She's genuine and just has a story and really wants to be able to tell it. And he was like, I really want to help her tell it. And I think that's the difference. And that's something I always talk about, hence the no bullshit. Like, if you just real, if you just be you and have genuine, intentions in life, I think karma does come around. I think you'll attract the right people. And that's incredible. So, but tell me more about Keanu, because I've low-key been in love with the guy since I was a kid. And so he is just a phenomenal human, and everyone says that. But what is he genuinely like as a mentor, as someone you've worked next to?
I think growing up alongside a project like this, it can be very difficult. I was 15. I am now 21. There was a big moment in my life I had no idea what I was doing. And it's weird because, obviously I'm young. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. But for a long time, I thought I was making a mistake because, I was pitching constantly. I was constantly looking for somebody to help me with, get the project going. And it was just a long, dedicated few years. And so for a while, there was just what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Why doesn't anybody want this? Why does nobody want to see this? Things like that. And so there was times where I just reached out to him and asked him about that type of stuff. It's am I doing the right thing? Is what do I do? It's things like that. And he would just be like, the project will go where it needs to go. And the people who are supposed to be on this project will be on this project. Trust the process. And as I've gotten older and been working in this industry, I think I understand that a lot more. But 15-year-old me didn't. And so it was a very long journey to understand that. And he was always there to make that, understand. Not understand, but he was always there to explain, that's just how it is.
What do you think the most profound thing he ever told you is?
Okay. I think the one thing that I hold on to a lot, and whenever I'm, kind of feeling down and not, especially, for film and stuff, or anything I'm trying to accomplish. One time I was talking to him about my vision, and he said this in the most John Wick voice, but he was like, it's your vision, Bianca. It's your vision. And so he's like, it'll happen the way it needs to happen. And with everybody that came on, Zach, Carla, Angela, Ultra Boom, Sugar 23, all these people really did bring that vision to full, it is exactly what I imagined it to be, and everybody's opinions and thoughts and love poured into it. It came something even better than what I would have thought it would be.
But you just mentioned all these people. You've got an all-star cast. Oh my God. But they all believed in you. That must have felt insane. You're so young and you're inexperienced compared to them in this industry. You've just mentioned people who've been working on big movies, people working with Anthony Bourdain, and big guys all over the world, and they all wanted to produce your movie. And like, how on earth did you get like this all-star lineup? Like I said, you're just a kid speaking to a dad on your kitchen table and you're like, I really want to make this movie. Suddenly you've got Keanu Reeves and suddenly you've got this all-star lineup. Like, that's not normal. Like, that is just not normal, right? But for some teenagers' first film project, so to speak, like a big film project, to land that much of a big cast, like when I say cast, I mean film production crew. How did you do that?
Okay, so I think it's also like a mix of everybody else, because after Keanu came on, Carla came on, and that was a whole thing. Like, I used to be a part of the USCF girls club, and so she and John Leguizamo came on, and I asked her a question, which is something that was really important to me, which was, what's it like to be a Latina in the film industry? I was in college at the time, I was in college. I was like freshman in college, and I had just done a paper about this too, about being a Chicana and being a Latina in it, and it's very it's rare to find them in people in powerful positions and things like that, but I'm not gonna get into that. But I wanted to see what her opinion was. And I remember we talked about it, and then right after I emailed her and I talked to her about my project, and she was like, I would love to help you, and I like to call her my film mom now because I've known her since I was 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she brought on Zach, and I remember talking to Zach in a interview, not an interview, but whenever we talked to each other and like met each other. I left my class. I was in a filmmaking class. I left it. I went into the hallway. I got on the Zoom because, different time zones, and I remember just talking to him. And I think for a lot of people on this project, it is a passion project. People care about like the story and making something different. And yeah, I think it was just like kind of like a weird coincidence with a lot of it, but also like connecting with them, because with a lot of people on this project, specifically like the producers and people behind the scenes, they've become like family. Like Angela, Carla, Zach, like I'm close with them. And it's also kind of funny because even the cast, I'm very close with them. So I think it's just like this being in itself where it created itself, and everybody just kind of became a family.
Well, it's a beautiful documentary. That's why, like, how it's been done, and I am so excited to see it tomorrow. Like I said, I saw the trailer, and like I've only obviously seen a tiny chunk of it that we filmed in Paris, and I know that there's a tiny bit of it that I know what happens, but I want to know that was the end of it, right? As well, right? That's the end, and so I want to. And when I saw the trailer, I was so moved. It was really beautiful, and obviously get to see everything you've done up to that point. I can't wait to see it all come together. But how are you feeling with it all? Because obviously you've been working all the way up to it. How do you feel about like the end product, the fact it's airing tomorrow at the Miami Film Festival? Where are your thoughts at?
I'm very nervous, but I'm also very proud. There's a little bit, I will give a little bit about something that's in it.
Okay.
That's this project not just the 6 years that I spent making this, it has another layer to it. We went to Mexico. I got to see a lot of my family out there. And my Uncle Joe, he gets to star in it. We lost him a few months ago.
Oh, no.
And so this project has just become another type of closeness to me, because now generations of my family get to watch him and hear him talk about his experiences. And so there's just like so many levels and layers to this project, and I'm very happy that everybody gets to see it. And I think the biggest thing I hope to get from this is just people see another side of chess.
And that's what I said to Carla as well, because I thanked her for changing the face of chess, like helping to change that face of chess, because as someone who's grown up playing chess all my life, and I've been a professional chess player for how many years, and I never told anyone. Like, I didn't. And in the UK, it was definitely frowned upon. If you told people that you played chess, you'd be heavily bullied. Like, at school, you'd be beaten up, you're the dork, like you have no respect. And the only reason I got away with it is because I was also the best at sports. So it's like, if they ripping on me for playing chess, I'd also smoke them on the track. I'd beat them on the field. So like, I would be okay, I'd get away with it, but everyone else who was part of the chess team they'd be ripped on. And so when I got older, I went to secondary school. I never told anyone. When I went to university, I never told anyone. I just didn't want it to be a part of who I was. And that's a shame, because like if I had embraced being a chess player, being a chess master, and even like I came out with something the other day, which I never told people. But for example, I'm the only Black female chess master in the UK, right? And you know that, but it's nuts to think that. And actually, I only knew that. This is how crazy it was. I only knew that because they were researching Black female chess masters in the US, like 10 years ago or whatever it was, and there weren't any. And then I was playing a lot in the US, and they were like, wait, you're the only one over here playing, like you're the highest on the USCF rating list. Why is that? And then I remember like doing some pieces for like the news channels over here, like on that, and like the quest for finding a Black female chess master. And the US, like, I felt special, like, you know, like the way that the US portrayed me was that I was successful. It was a positive thing. It was great that I was this, you know, inspiration for other Black girls. And I loved that because I would love to see other Black girls playing chess. And I will always be grateful for certain people in the US. For example, like in Michigan, there was a guy who kind of helped me go around all the different places in Michigan and all the inner city places as well. And in Atlanta, there's amazing people who looked after me, promoted me in those places. And whenever I went and there was like a room full of Black boys and girls, and they were all like, whoa, you're a chess master and you look like me? That's cool. And they were also like, wow, so Black people can play chess. And it was really nice. And I loved that. But then the UK, it's very different. And, you know, there were many times where I'd be told I shouldn't be allowed to play for England because of how I look, and my name sounds too ethnic and it doesn't sound English. And when that's the reaction you get, like, it's really disheartening and you don't want to keep playing. And so for me, it's been a struggle with that. Like, and I've never felt proud the same way to play chess in England as when I came over to the US, which seems ridiculous because I'm not American, but I really liked playing over here, and it was very different. And I think, you know, whenever I see someone helping to shift the perception of chess, women in chess, minority in chess, like, and showing how beautiful the game is, and it can be for everyone, but also the struggles of different ethnic groups and how differently you're treated, and whether you come from a certain socioeconomic background but you can still play the game. Like, I love all that sort of stuff in chess, and I think that's why I found your work beautiful, I found Carla's work beautiful, and I really hope more stories like this are told, because it means a lot to me as well, personally, as someone who has been on this journey. And I wish that, you know, there was more of that attitude in chess in general.
It's kind of funny. One of my first, like, documentaries that really inspired me with my chess club was Brooklyn Castle.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember watching that and seeing Rochelle on screen and just being like, that's amazing. I want to be just like her.
Aww.
And so I really hope that's something similar with the documentary, the Madwoman's game, because, you know, being Mexican-American, second generation, I hope that other, you know, Mexicanas and Hispanic people are like, this is for our communities as well.
But Rochelle's in this documentary, isn't she? She's in Madwoman's game,
yes,
right?
Which is so surreal.
Well, this is what I'm going to ask. I was like, you've just told me that you watched this documentary and you were like, oh my God, Rochelle, and I would love to be like her. And then now she's in your film. How does that feel?
I remember when we, like, got that confirmed, I think I started crying, because I still remember sitting in that theater with my chess club, and it was a local theater, and we walked there and we were watching it, and I remember that movie, like, so vividly. And then saying yes, like, to get interviewed, and then just talking to her and hearing her advice was it was just insane. It was really insane. I was just like, this can't be real.
Oh, I love that. I love that for her because I've met her a few times, obviously on the circuit, and she's so lovely. And it's just so nice that you see her as this celebrity almost. And I love that because whilst like I know her as a normal girl, she totally deserves that. And I think like it's brilliant that chess movies have kind of made that feel so surreal, and hopefully you could do the same for what you're doing for chess as well. And I'm super excited to see what happens to it.
Thank you.
That's why I say to you, like what you've done is impressive because majority of us, well, the families I speak to on a daily basis, they are scared of that. Like, you know, if I go to someone and go, oh, would you sponsor my podcast? People might be like, yeah. Like, and actually I've had people reach out to me and say they want to sponsor them, and I just don't end up following up because I'm almost embarrassed by it, because I'm like, I don't want to chase them because then it looks desperate, and then it's like, it's all in here. It's completely all in my head, whereas realistically, I should just be like, yes, I'm looking for a sponsor. Like, my podcast hit top 20% in Spotify podcasts or business podcasts, and that's huge, right? That's a big deal. And then when I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, my podcast is actually doing quite well, considering there's how many millions of podcasts are out there. Like, it's actually good. But when I look at it, I'm comparing it to bloody like Joe Rogan or something, and I'm still not doing well. Like, you know, but you've got to be realistic. And I just think that if I went out there, I probably would get loads of people sponsoring me. And someone's going to say yes. And that's going to feel amazing. And then that could lead to me getting much more deals on, like, and I can travel the world. I can interview people all over the world. And like, you know, and I forget that doing this is a skill. Like, interviewing a podcast is a skill. And every time a guest comes on, they go, oh, you're really good at this. And like, you're a good interviewer. But I don't think so, because I'm just being me. And I don't realize it. It's a natural skill. I never had the training, like I was saying to you about media training. I never had this. And people go, oh, everyone's always like, that's the best podcast I went on. I really liked your questions. And I was like, damn, like, if it's a skill, I'm good at it, I should really be doing more of it. And
it's not just the skill, you're passionate about it.
Yeah, exactly. I really enjoy it. And that's what we were saying about earlier to you, right? How that's going to come up. And I think that I need to think that too. I just need to get out of my own head and I guess just go for things. And I think that's what I'm struggling with, you know, talking earlier about what I want to do. I'm at that point, I was saying, I told my husband yesterday, I just let go I have let go 2 of our clients in the last like few weeks, and like there were 2 like high-ish paying clients, and I just got rid of both of them because of the way they were treating us. And they were so horrible to me and my team. They were disrespectful, don't value the time, and they basically expected us to like work full-time round the clock for them on a like, you know, a 1 day a week wage. And, you know, no money is worth that stress and disrespect. And so I said to him, I'm going to get rid of these clients, which means I'm going to have no money coming in terms of like compared to what I was before. But I feel like it gives me more time to pursue what I really want to do. And I think that's, and I was saying that to him, he's very sensible, he's very different, he's not an entrepreneur. And I said to him, I don't know what I want to do. I was like, does that mean I go all in on myself and all in on what I really want to do? But that's risky. And he was like, well, yeah, that's a risky option. And to him, that's really risky, and he wouldn't go for it. But if you truly believe in yourself and you know you're good at what you do, that's the only option. Like, it should be the only option. Like, it should be. Like, I'm not going with zero income. I obviously have my other bits of income that are coming in. It's not like I'm just starting out from nothing either, and I'm like quitting my job and just going like all in on something. Yeah. I'm just saying, why don't I back myself for the first time in my life? It's ridiculous I'm not, right?
I think it's like this sounds a little weird, but money always comes back. Yeah. Money does always come back. I think if you focus too much on money, you only get one life. Yeah. You really do only get one life, and you should be the one that chooses what to do with that life. And not just that, the more unrealistic you create, the more unrealistic, right? People use this term unrealistic, but who's it unrealistic to?
That's a good point. So that's why I feel like people will say these things like, oh, you do too much. I'm like, too much for who? Like, you know, and it's like, it's subjective, right? At the end of the day.
And so if you create the biggest idea, you're still somewhat closer to that goal than before even trying it.
It's unrealistic that you pitched to Keanu Reeves.
Like, exactly. Like, and so I think the more unrealistic it is, it's your life. Yes. No one gets to tell you what to do.
Maybe I should take Keanu's words. It said it's your vision.
It is. Right? It is your life.
But we're in Miami now. We are getting ready for your premiere tomorrow, which I'm super psyched about. But like you said, you've been here before. This is a kind of a nice, it's kind of a 360 moment, right? But you came to Miami 5 years ago? How long ago was it? 3 years ago? I can't remember what it was.
It'd have to be 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago. Why were you in Miami? You said for the
FTX Champions Chess Tour.
And for those who have watched, I guess, the Untold documentary now on Netflix, they will know that this is one of the big battles between Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann, and you were there for it. So what were you doing there? Tell me.
You know, it's so funny. I was talking to my auntie about this recently because I actually went with her. And I was asking her, I was like, why did we even go to that? Because, like, the original idea, I think Carla was supposed to have, like, a movie showing, but it never happened. But I think that's why we originally went. But I used to work for Chess24. I used to do social media with them back when I was, like, 15. Around the same time I started the doc, that's when I worked for Chess24. And so when we showed up to the event, they remembered me. Oh. And we got media passes.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were there every single day. It was like such a surreal thing. Like, I remember I was still talking about the documentary at the time where it was at. So, like, we were talking to people about it, getting people hyped, 6 years later. But he's showing here, and which is actually also crazy. Sorry, jump off it. There were some people that I met at that Champions Chess Tour. I got a message from them yesterday saying that they're going to be there tomorrow.
Oh, I love that.
And I was like, I haven't talked to you in like how many years, and you're gonna be there? And they're like, yeah, I remember you talking about it like slightly at the chess tour, and now you're here again, and you made a movie about chess. And so I was like, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I was there. I saw the whole Hans Niemann ordering food every day, and what else happened? Like, so much happened that entire week.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of funny because we had also got invited to go to St. Louis the next week. So we were at the next tournament where everything, the serious one went down. We left the day before it happened.
Oh, no way. So you were both of them. That's hilarious.
And so we were there in the behind the scenes, hanging out with everybody and talking to everybody.
I love that place, actually. So I used to work the Sinfield Cup. I worked for Rex.
Oh, okay.
And I was like literally in the first 3 Sinfield Cups, I was there working it. Yeah, so that was back in like 2012 or something. It was a long time ago. 2013, I think it was. It was a long time ago. And actually I was the PR person who was like the person behind the camera because now the chess players are great with media training, but back in the day they weren't. And this is like pre-streaming, pre-any of that sort of stuff, and they wanted to get good content. This is a great quality tournament. I think the Sinfield Club and St. Louis Chess Club and Sinfield Cup, it pioneered the quality of chess tournaments that are. Like, walking into that chess club, it instantly made you want to play chess. It was so luxury, so quality, like everything they did about it. The GMs I had in residence, the commentators are set up, like everything was brilliant. I have massively big props to their team. And so they hired me as the person to try and get the most out of the players, because I knew most of them personally, right. And I was able to have conversations with them, and me being so chatty and energetic, I was able to talk to them behind cameras to get the most out of them in terms of conversation, so that on camera they were able to get good sound bites from the players. And that was my role, like basically to make chess players sound eloquent for a day. And so yeah, I used to do that, and then I always did loads of chess reporting and stuff. So I loved the Sinfield Cup, and I used to stay in the house, and it was brilliant. So I wasn't there the whole Hans thing. I believe Carla was, right? Carla was there.
Yeah,
she said.
At the FTX.
Yeah. So I feel like, it was an interesting one. So, but that's crazy that you're now here with your film, which is a very different thing. And with the film, I want to go back to it again, because I feel like you had an idea on a kitchen table, fine. How does it go from kitchen table brainstorm with your dad to actually being aired at a film festival? Like, how did you know you had a vision? Like Keanu said, it's your vision. But how did that actually then become like an actual script? Like, how on earth did you know, like where you wanted to film? Because you were filming in different parts of the world. Like, how did you know who you wanted to be in it? Like, you know, I was in it, like, which I'm so grateful for, but like you had so many amazing women and mentors along the way. Like, how did you know about what to do and how that was scripted?
So the creation behind the scenes, like pre-production, it took a very long time. We spent years working on it. Zach and I, Carla, Angela, we all used to be in meetings all day, all day. Like for a long time, we would just call in the morning, call in the evening. What do you think about this idea? It'd be in the middle of the night. Hey, can we get a call? Like it was really random, but we would just sit in those meetings and we just talk. And before we even had any idea of like where we wanted to shoot, who we wanted to interview, we wanted to talk about what we thought was important to tell. And so I think for the like long first like 2-3 years of like developing, it was like, what do we want our audience to know? And I think for me, like they asked me a lot of that type of thing. Like Zach would ask me questions and then he would understand it, and then his amazing mind, like I don't know how he does it, would come up with these ideas that were just so crazy and like worked out perfectly. And so we would like start collaborating on that. But it would be like, okay, I want to talk about being Mexican American. You know, my dad's white, my mom's Mexicana, living in a world where I don't know where I fit in. That's something that I struggled with for a long time. And so I was like, okay, I want to talk about that, and including that with like kind of chess, because I know probably a lot of other people struggle with that. Or what's the question of life? Like things like that, right? I don't want to give too much away about the movie, but like it was things like that where what is something that I have questions that everybody else is also questioning. And then after that, we kind of like paired it with Paris, right? Because it's been my dream to be there since I was a kid, in Mexico, because my family's from there. New York, you know, cities of dreams, right? And so it was just things like that. And then for the women, I was very particular. I'm going to be honest with that one. I was very particular about the women. Personally, I think with the chess world, amazing that a lot of people are coming up. We still don't hear a lot of stories from people that we see a lot of the same stories. It was important for me to not put the person who's been in the spotlight again. I wanted people to tell their own stories. And something about me, I made this very like open to everybody. I've been taught whenever you say your name, Bianca Mitchell Avila, you're not just saying your own name, you're saying the people that come before you, you're holding power of your ancestors. So as the interviewer, as the host, I wanted the women to tell their own stories. I did not want to tell them for them. And so with choosing the women, it was more of I want them to tell their own stories, and I want to highlight them. And so that's kind of where the whole process of 6 years was, making sure that came through and nobody like kind of changed that.
That's beautiful. I honestly think it's like, and again, the way that you're talking is it's so mature, and I feel like I don't want to say that in a patronizing way, because it probably comes across that way, like, you know, and you've probably heard that a lot, right? But you're only 21 and you've been doing this since you were, like I said, you've been making this movie since you were 15. Like, I honestly could not even fathom doing that. And but listening to you, I would never believe that you are so young, because you sound like a professional filmmaker and you're like storyteller. You've been doing this so long, and I just think it's amazing. And kind of your dad must have had a lot of wisdom. He's gave you all that wisdom along the way. You've definitely picked it up, because it's really nice to hear, and like the way you talk about it and the vision you've got. Like, I can't wait to see it all come together. I know it's going to be brilliant. But what is next for you? Because you've done this, and like I said, you're 21 and you've already got a movie out. This is crazy. But what's next?
For Madwoman's game, I'm not sure that's on the producer side, but for me, I'm making a proposal for a book about my 6 years of working on this project and growing up in the industry. I have my own art studio, so I'm doing a lot of art and painting. And then I have a production company that's in the works. I'm not doing it yet, but I want to keep producing and keep creating movies.
Wow, that's a lot. So I know that the art's always there for you, and that's a big, big, big passion that's never going to go away. But I definitely want to talk about the book and the production company, because that's crazy. the book, like obviously, you know, it's going to talk about, you know, you and your journey. Is it to help inspire other people who are like you're saying, so that they can, you know, if they want to kind of have, like I said, the balls to pitch to big people and, you know, not have that fear of rejection that I feel like everyone else has? Is it that sort of thing, and you want to help inspire others?
Yes, it's that. And then also with making a documentary and any other type of movie, it can take a long time to get made. And as it's like when I was young, I didn't understand that. And it was very confusing, and like I said, I was struggling a little bit. And so I want this book to be kind of a helpful guide that, like, hey, you're not alone in this, and just keep going and don't give up on that dream.
Oh, I love that. And I think, so then the production company, what would you want to produce next? What would your vision be? Like, if you're producing this, you're having a company, what's next?
I want to keep doing documentary work, but also kind of just leave it open. I want to help people make their projects. I realized with this whole journey, I love working with like very creative people and passionate people and people who love what they're doing. Like, interviewing people was another level. Like, you just see so many sides of life, and I think that was like really empowering. And so I want to keep helping people make their dreams, because I like hearing about it as well. And so I want to help people who are passionate about their projects.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Bianca. You're a wonderful guest. Obviously, I could speak to you all day.
Yeah.
If other people want to get in touch with you, like maybe want to pitch their projects to you, which I think is super surreal, like you know, it's kind of gone full 360. Where could people get in touch with you?
If you want to get in touch with me, my Instagram is Bianca Mitchell Avila.
Okay, perfect. I will drop any of the details in the show notes so people can find you. And obviously, when Madwoman's game gets bought and lands somewhere exciting, we'll update that too. But I am super psyched for tomorrow, and I know it's going to be amazing. But I will super share this far and wide to everyone who wants to hear about your story. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you.